What's poppin', world? I hope all is well. Thanks for tuning in. The question for today is this: should you live with a person before you marry them? Should you live with a person before you marry them? Now, I know many people have answered this question, but I think that I have the answer down to a science. I'm going to break this all the way down, and I hope that everyone can relate to this breakdown. Now, I'm going to begin by saying this: I'm a man of God, I'm a Christian. However, I know that everyone watching is not religious or spiritual. So I'm going to try to hit this at different angles so that I can be as relatable as possible to the masses of people. All right, let's get into it. As a woman, the only reasons you should move in with a man before marriage is if, for one, you all have children together, or if this man is very intentional about marrying you. Signs that this man is intentional about marrying you are things like: does he have intense conversation about marrying you? Another thing, has there been an engagement or a proposal of some sort? Also, is this a man of good character? In other areas of his life, does he do what he says he's going to do, right? Is this man intentional in every area of his life, right? These are signs that this man is an intentional man. And once again, if he has deep conversations and a layout and a blueprint, and you're able to see the steps he's taken to make this marriage happen, this is a man who is intentional about marrying you. Now, outside of those parameters, it is a bad deal for a woman to move in with a man before marriage. Here's why. 9 times out of 10, if you move in with this man before you marry him and it's outside of the parameters I just laid out, you are going to be doing everything a wife would be doing as a girlfriend, right? If you move in with this man before marriage and it's outside of those parameters I just gave, you are going to be doing everything a wife will be doing as a girlfriend. And if this man is not intentional about marrying you, more times than not, his mentality is going to be, why buy the cow when the milk is free? Why buy the cow when the milk is free? Now, if you're a woman and you don't care about marriage, right? Or you don't subscribe to marriage and you ain't worried about none of that, I will say this: keep doing your thing, right? Life is good. Y'all building together. Y'all doing y'all thing. Y'all ain't worried about marriage. It's all good. Keep doing your thing. But what I previously said was in regards to all the women who look forward to getting married. That's who I was speaking to. Also, ladies, remember this: you have a time clock, right? A woman's value when it comes to the selection process, her value lies in her fertility and her beauty. Those things decrease drastically as a woman ages, right? They decrease drastically. Most men would say a woman's prime would be between the ages of 18 and 35. And that's a pretty wide range right there. Some men, the range is a lot narrower than that, right? But I'll give it a wide range. So I'll say that prime is in between 18 and 35, right? So women, you have a biological time clock, right? So you don't have a lot of time to waste. That's why you want to make sure this man is intentional about marrying you, if that's something that you want, right? As far as marriage, if that's something you want to make sure he's intentional, especially before you move in with him. Now, men out there, I do not advise men to move into a woman's dwelling, right? Into a woman's home, when her name is the name on the lease and the man's name is not on the lease, right? I don't advise men to do that, right? Why is that? If you move into her space, right, you are becoming a powerless man. She has all the say so within that dwelling, right? You never want to become a powerless man. That's the worst thing a man could ever be, is a powerless man. Now, if you decide to, you all decide to move in together and both names are on the lease, that's a choice that you all can make. And hey, that may work out for you all if that's something that you decide to do. The reason I don't have an issue with men doing this is because under those circumstances, in my opinion, the man still has the power. The man still has leverage. The man has leverage. Anytime a woman moves in, though, before marriage, I think she loses leverage, right? Because 9 times out of 10, she's going to be doing the things that a wife would be doing, except for she's a girlfriend doing those things, right? Now, I'm a man who also believes in spiritual marriage, right? So you got legal marriage, you got spiritual marriage. I believe in spiritual marriage as well. So some people don't want to go downtown, go to the courthouse, or, go through the government to get marriage or to get that bond, right? Some people, all they need is that spiritual bond, right? Why get the courts involved? Why get the quote unquote white man involved? Whatever they want to call it. Some people don't want to do that, and I respect that. So if you all want to move in without being legally married, I have no issue with that, as long as that man's name is on the lease. But once again, like I said, in those situations, in my opinion, that man has leverage. The man has leverage because he's 9 times out of 10 getting what he wants and need out of that woman, right? Out of that woman without paying the ultimate price of marriage, right? Without paying the ultimate price of a legal marriage. Now, like I stated before, I don't advise a man moving into a woman's dwelling where her name is on a lease and his name is not on a lease. But let me say this. Every situation is different. I know situations and I know people and I know men who moved in with a woman, right? With his name not being on the lease and hers being on the lease. And they went on to, be happily married, right? It worked out, right? It worked out. I know women who have helped their men get on their feet. And that man went on to be successful. And in the process, he married that woman, right? On this channel right here, we're going to keep it real. I'm not going to use YouTube talking points to break people down, right? To belittle people, to say, hey, if you don't do this way, you weak. If you don't do it this way, you're wrong. I'm not going to do that over here. I know in the real world, sometimes those situations where the man moves in with the woman, sometimes it works out, and they go on to be happily married. You get what I'm saying? Although I don't advise it. I don't advise a man to move into a woman's home, right? When her name's on the list and his name is not. I don't advise men to do that, right? There's a chance for you to get kicked out of there, right? There's a chance for you to get kicked out. There's a chance for you to be homeless. And you will be powerless within that household more times than not. I don't advise it, but there are situations where, hey, those things work out, right? It works out, right? So it is what it is, although I don't advise it. Now, all in all, I'll say this. If you don't have to, do not move in before you marry someone. Do not move in with them before you marry them, right? Now, I will say this. I think that you all should get as many overnights as possible, right? You all should be around each other as much as possible, right? Now, for all my religious Christians out there, these overnights do not have to include sex. They don't have to include sex. I'm solely saying that with those people spending the night with each other, they're seeing each other. They're seeing, can they deal with each other throughout the day and throughout the night, right? And they're seeing, can they see these different habits, right? That's why I would advise people to do the overnights, right? But if you all decide to move in before you get married, hey, if it works for you, go for it, right? If it works for you, do it. I don't have a problem with you. I ain't gonna judge you. Do your thing. If it works for you all, right? If it works for you all. Now, stats say that many marriages don't last when the people, cohabitate before the marriage, right? But I don't know how accurate those numbers are. I don't know how accurate those numbers are. But I see it working in many cases. I do see it working in many cases. But guys, all I can do is advise you on this stuff. I can't tell you what to do. You're going to do what you want to do regardless. All I can do is advise you. I've been there twice. So I know all the ins and outs about marriage, living with someone before you get married, living with someone after y'all get married. I know the ins and outs. All I can do is advise you on this stuff, guys. All I can do is advise you. Men out there, continue to become the best version of yourselves, right? Create a program so that if a woman does come in your life, or if you already have a woman, right, you're able to properly lead that woman. You're able to properly lead that woman and set a firm foundation. Women out there, please be cooperative with the men in your life. Don't give him a hard time. Follow his leadership. Don't get with a man if he ain't a leader. Don't get with a man who don't have a strong backbone, right? Don't get with a man who don't got his stuff together. It's just not a good decision at the end of the day. It's not a good decision at the end of the day. But guys, that's all I got for you. Like this video. Share this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I could be missing something here. School me. Let me know what's up. Also, subscribe to the YouTube. And remember, guys, keep God first. I love you all. Be blessed.